And here are the boys from Old Scotch Collegians out onto the ground.
Hello and welcome to our coverage coming to you on NTFA Division 2 Grand Final Day. Coming to you, of course, from the Youngtown Oval, as we usually do for the Division 2 Grand Final. And our Grand Final this afternoon in the reserves between Old Scotch Collegians and the Evandale Eagles. As you can see there, the Evandale side doing their warm-up pre-game. These teams with their run to the finals. Old Scotch coming in via the second semi-final.
Now for those of you who have the program,
where they defeated
Old Scotch,
St Pat's
delete number 6,
9-12-66 to St Pat's 3-3-21, and Evandale having a slightly
30,
more difficult run to the grand final,
31,
having
37,
defeated having defeated OLs on
42,
first semi-final day out at Rochalee,
44,
where they won 14-11-95 to 1-4-10, and then winning their preliminary final encounter against St Pat's.
Add into the Old Scotch team
With a 2-point victory, actually. It was a close one, that one, 12-5-77 to 11-9-75.
Number 14 will be Jack Jolly, and number 48,
There's the
Stephen
Old
Sapper.
Scotch boys coming towards us here in our broadcast position.
Evandale changes, take out number 3, go right down to number 46, 48, 50, 53, 55, 56, add in 3 players, number 31, Jack Marr,
The umpires out there ready to
34,
take charge of the grand final.
and number 54,
Sasha Atkins
Michael
there, the
Routledge.
in the camera shot at the moment, the former North Launceston State League player, Sasha, and of
Old
course,
Scotch
son of the
players
great
starting
Noel
on the
Atkins.
bench,
And
17,
we've got Gary Bass
Mitchell
in the screen there,
47,
and
James Walsh,
Michael Zammett will
57,
be
Angus
the other field
Bassett,
umpire. You can see him
58,
there
Stuart
talking
McDonald,
to the
59,
goal umpires.
Tristan O'Byrne.
Goal umpires
For
for
Evandale,
today's game,
interchange players, 14, Ethan
Diane
Becker,
Whiteley and
17, Adam
Unwin,
Shea,
and the boundary umpires, Dietrich, Twining and
41,
Binns.
Alex Devine, 42, Andrew Lloyd, and 49, Wade DeVoe. We're about to have the toss, so we can ask both teams now to line up for the toss, please, and with the umpires.
The coin will be tossed shortly out in the centre of the ground
That
by
will be followed by the national anthem.
Aga
Captain
Khan.
for the toss. Aga Khan, one of the many life members for the NTFA, will make the toss. And joint captains today for Evandale are Andrew Lydon and Jeff Stick, and the captain for Old Scotch, Mitchell Ayres.
Players forming up now for the national anthem.
Just get the umpires to effect the toss before the national anthem, if we could, please. Umpires, if you can get the captains for the toss, please.
Just waiting for the toss to take place out there before the national anthem. The Evandale boys coming in now to form up opposite their opponents for the afternoon. Fine sunny afternoon here,
Toss the coin,
thus far anyway, at
and Evandale won the toss and are kicking
at the
to
stadium.
their hometown. They're kicking to the Evandale side of the ground.
So Evandale will go to the airport
And now,
end.
please be upstanding for the national anthem.
And here we go with the national anthem.
Players go to their huddle. Today's game, of course, James Bow Draft. My state, of course, Cougar Sportswear, Sports First Mowbray, Bendigo Bank, WorkSafe, Alaska Past, Country Club, Tasmania, and Tasmania National Fires, B&D Builders and Excavators as the teams take up their position. Evandale kicking to the Evandale end of the ground, Scotch kicking to the city end.
And as we can see, the players now starting to move to their positions. Evandale, of course, going to that airport end of the ground or the southern end of the ground, and Old Scotch will kick towards the city end or the northern end, we'll probably call it, as we progress through the afternoon. My name's Terry Fellows, and the pictures today are being brought to you by our great friends at Carter Productions. Arnie out there on the camera. The people that can provide all your video, audio and film transfer needs with DVD and CD production, Carter Productions. Situated, of course, at 113 George Street, Launceston. So we're about in a readiness to roll. Umpire holds the ball aloft. And we'd better do our usual disclaimer that we only see most of these players once a year, or I do anyway, so we may get a few things wrong as we go along, but I'm sure you'll know, watching, who's who if I get it wrong. So Old Scotch will go first into attack and kick towards their 50-metre line out there in front of the scoreboard side, and it's out over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Yes, the weather's quite different to what we had in Launceston yesterday, where it rained off and on for most of the day. We're predicting at one stage showers for the morning this morning, but that didn't occur, and even though we've got a few darkish looking clouds around, I don't think we are going to be threatened by rain this afternoon. So the first of the grand finals underway, and the first free kick in the game going to Old Scotch, and they squeeze it inside 50, ball to ground, picked up and flicked out of there in a hurry, and here come Evandale out of their defence. Bounces it through the centre of the ground, bending down to pick it up there and getting the handball away for Old Scotch was Adam Monson. There's been a whistle, and Monson will take the free kick. On the left foot, drives it down towards the front edge of the square. Spilt probably what he should have taken there, the Old Scotch player. Kicks it off the ground. Play on, says the umpire. Bending down to pick it up there was Hardacre from Evandale. His handball's astray. Scotch in there doing battle. A bit scrambly, as are most grand finals to start with at the moment. Ball packed up underneath, and umpire Zamet will come in and bounce the ball. That's right, we don't bounce it these days, we throw it up. There's only one place that we bounce it nowadays, and that's at the start of each quarter and after a goal in the centre. Whatever for, I don't know. You're not going to bounce it, don't bounce it. If you are going to bounce it, bounce it. So, through the centre of the ground goes Old Scotch through the agency of Jack Chorley. Ball out towards that scoreboard side of the ground once again. Another big pack developing there, as you can see. And the umpire calls for it and will come in and throw it up. Old Scotch from that throw up right down to the teeth of goal. Bouncing ball. Evandale tried to tap it out of their defence. Picked up there by Old Scotch through the agency of Swallow. Handball, open goal, and it's been put through by Priest. So Priest has got the first on the board for the Old Scotch side. So Sam Briggs it was putting the goal through there. So they now lead by that goal. Evandale yet to get on the scoreboard. Ball back in the centre quickly. Boundary umpire's doing a fine job. Mightn't be in the last quarter. Big ground for the little fellas to run. Here you go, Old Scotch forward again. Evandale have only got it as far as the centre circle thus far, and there's the mark being taken there by McAdam. McAdam quickly on with play. Oh, the Evandale man's dropped it right in the goal square and through for a minor score. Nathan Bester quick with his fingers here on the scoreboard today. 1-1-7 to Scotch. Evandale kicking the ball out, getting it out towards the 50-metre mark, but the Old Scotch are going to bring it straight back in. Goes to the ground. Flung out of the pack there, the Old Scotch player. Roaming around the outside of the pack was the big goal kicker there in Briggs. And once again, it's out over the boundary line for a throw in. Boundary umpire about to do his work. It'll be Briggs in there to do battle against Brown. Ball comes to the ground, close to the boundary line, and that's where it goes before Ben Rigby from Evandale can control it. So most of the play been over there on that far side of the ground, on the eastern side of the ground. Over the top there was the big long arms of Brown, knocked it down. And once again, out over the boundary line. In front of the scoreboard that shows Old Scotch leading 1-1-7. Evandale yet to get on the board. Just over 5 minutes of play gone. Kick back to the centre wing. Evandale off the ground, missed his target. Old Scotch running the ball towards the boundary line, but they can't control it there. Jack Chorley in there battling for the footy, but the white line wins again. Boundary umpire Gerard Binns spins the ball back into play. Over the back of the pack, taken away by Evandale. That's a long and high kick down towards their front 50. That's as far as they've been into attack so far in this first term. Now they've got a chance, can they, to go forward? Yes, they can. Right down towards the front of the square. Good play there by, by Jeff Stick. And he has missed, but they're on the scoreboard. Their opening score in this first term. And Old Scotch will bring the ball back into play. Good kick, finds his teammate out there on that far side. He runs inside 50, has a bounce, then passes short once again into the centre. Quick hands and away goes Scotch through that centre corridor. Has a bounce, then gets a kick. Out here in front of our commentary position, the race is on. Tackled without the footy, says the umpire, and the free kick. Well, Oh, free kick went the other way. He must have, umpire must have deemed dropping the ball. I didn't see him signal that. The old Scotch player thought he had the free kick. Anyway, it's up here on the forward line in the hands of Howard. Howard squares it up in front of goal and a nice safe mark. Taken once again in defence by Monson. He's been a prominent player in this first quarter for Old Scotch. Monson roaming across that back line. Long kick out there where the mark's been taken by Oliver. Quickly on with play. Tackled with the ball, the Evandale blonde-headed man. And the umpire said no prior opportunity. So Sasha Atkins will come in and toss the ball up. No one managed to lay a hand on it. And we'll do it all again. Andrew Truscott in there for Old Scotch. So there's the toss-up. The big men do battle. Comes back out over the side of the pack. Everyone overruns the ball. Squeezed out of the pack there by Crisp. And good mark taken by... He's going back to have his kick. And I think it's Briggs again. Yep, Briggs it is. So he does the customary Matthew Lloyd thing. Throws a piece of grass in the air. And all it done was come back down. So in he comes. Deliberate approach to goal. Nice looking drop punt, but it's faded right away. And out of bounds on the full, in fact. Beside the behind post down there. At that city end of the ground, and Evandale will bring the ball back into play. Comes out, waiting over the back of the pack for Evandale there was Lydon. One of his side's vice-captains down here to centre wing in front of us. No one can mark the ball, ball to ground, ducking his head there in the tackle was Downey. And once again, right in front of us, umpire Gary Bass will call for the ball up. Out of bounds, so we'll have a throw in. Rather small boundary umpire, gets the ball in nice and high for the two big ruckmen to do battle once again. It was pushed away there for Old Scotch by Lyon. Back into the centre of the ground. Now here's a chance for Evandale to go forward through the agency of Lydon. Bouncing ball inside 50. Who's going to lead the race to the footy? 2-1 out there at the moment, favouring the Scotchies. They get it and bring it back outside 50. It's all Evandale here and taken right on the 50-metre mark by Matthew Rice. He goes short, cut off well there by the Old Scotch defence, and away they come through the agency there of Swallow. He kicks it down towards his side's attacking 50. One-on-one battle there. Evandale player tackled without the footy, was he? Yes, says umpire Atkins. And Evandale get the free kick. Back into the centre corridor. Right adjacent to that centre circle. Old Scotch player dipping the shoulder there. And we've seen a bit of that last night with a little Hawthorn man called Puopolo. Dipping the shoulder many times and winning a free kick. And I reckon if you're a good umpire, you know, oh dear, big clash there. You'll see that going on and you'll stop it happening. The Evandale man throwing his weight around there. That was number 54, Routledge. Meantime, back towards the Old Scotch attacking 50. They squeeze it inside 50 and here he comes again. The big fella's got another mark. Yep. Sam Briggs. The only goal kicker in the game thus far, and he'll line up this time from over here on this western side of the ground. And can he put this one through? Arnie's got the good camera angle on this one for us. There's the approach, there's the kick. Will it straighten? Yes, it will. And through for his second goal in this first quarter, and his team's second goal. 2-1, 13, leads just 1 point. Old Scotch have kicked some big scores throughout the season. a lot of their scores around the 100-point mark and well and truly over. 183 points against the Tamer Cats, way back on the 13th of April. Oh, big leap in the centre of the ground by the Evandale ruckman there, and then bit the dust. Tyler Brown, he's still down in the centre circle, getting himself up slowly there, as you can see in the camera shot. Very slowly, in fact. He's up now. Out on the centre wing. Old Scotch trying to work the ball forward again, having a little trouble. Evandale have upped the tempo a bit in this last few minutes, but Old Scotch break free from that pack. Drive it inside. Leaping players there, punch the ball towards the boundary line, out over the line, and we'll have another throw in. Plenty of work out there for the boundary umpire on that side of the ground in this first term. Almost 13 minutes travelled in this quarter. These quarters, 25 minutes, plus no time on unless we have to have a stretcher on the ground or the blood draw. So no time on in the main. A little bit of movement in the treetops, so there's a little bit of breeze blowing here today, but not a great lot. Bit notorious for wind up here. Launceston's version of Windy Hill. Oh dear, Evandale player taken high there surely, and a bit of a push and shove will come out of that, and he's not looking well actually, the Evandale man at the moment, and temper's a little frayed after that clash. And you can see the Evandale player there, and we were just talking about that time on situation, and this is sadly going to be one of them. So the two teams go into their huddles as we wait for the injured player, and we can't tell you who he is at the moment. He's actually probably at the furthest part of the ground there from us, and medical staff coming out now with the stretcher. Old Scotch team there in their team huddle. So we'll have a slight delay here. We go over to the Evandale team.
We're waiting for you. Knock that bloke out. Yeah, you take his knife and put it in, are you?
As you can see there in the picture, there was some movement there in the injured player laying on the ground, so we're assuming that he's conscious as they just wait to put the frame underneath him. One of the parts of the game that no one likes to see. So in this opening quarter of the Reserves Grand Final, NTFA Division 2 Grand Final day here at Youngtown, clock stopped at 16 minutes, and the current score line is 2-1-13 to Old Scotch, and Evandale just with that 1 point on the board. Nice sunny day here, and players returning to their positions, so can't be far away from having our injured man removed from the playing surface. Once again, I'm sorry, we can't tell you who it is at the moment because we weren't able to see his number in that heavy clash that occurred over there right in front of the scoreboard. We'll tell you who it is as soon as we're able. So our pitch is being brought to you today by Carter Productions, who can provide all your video, audio and film transfer needs, anything to do with DVD or CD. They're involved in the production of that down there at 113 George Street. Go and see Arnie at Carter Productions. Phone number down there, 63314640. And Arnie can help you out with any of those video and audio needs that we all have from time to time. Transfer all your VHS tapes onto DVD for you. And as you can see now, the training staff, medical staff, bringing the injured player across the ground. So a lengthy delay here in this first term of the grand final for the reserves of Division 2 in NTFA. Grand final day here at Youngtown. So the injured player now almost off the ground. Looked to be a nasty clash over there, and as you can see, it's one of those things that can't be rushed.
The clock on the scoreboard does not stop. However, there was a 6-minute delay, so it takes 6 minutes if you're watching the clock off the time on the scoreboard.
So we're underway again out there on the centre wing with the old Scotch team going forward into attack. They lead by 2 goals at the moment, 12-point lead to them, and an Evandale mark taken there on their defensive 50. He swings around onto his right foot, drives it out here onto the wing where the mark's been taken by Brown. Brown transfers it over there to the front of the edge of the centre square. Bouncing ball went over the top of his teammate's head in Matthew Rice. Ball to ground, going in there hard for Evandale was Fisher. He couldn't win the footy. Bit of a stacks on the mill, players being thrown to the ground. Old Scotch come out with the ball, however, through strength out of that pack and drive it back down through the centre square. Playing the centre corridor quite a bit. Here come Evandale out of their defence this time, though, looking for and finding a teammate up there in Burke. Burke quickly on. Long kick right into the teeth of goal. Bouncing ball. Took the left-hand turn, as we look at it anyway, and out of bounds. Boundary umpire Jared Binns gets the footy. We'll throw it in again. Right in that forward pocket for Evandale. Fell a little bit short, did the throw in, and might have seen a bit of a splash come out of the ground over there, I think, but it's out over the boundary line again. So we've had a lengthy delay here in this first quarter. Injury to one of the Evandale players over in front of the scoreboard. Yeah. Back underway. Over the back of the pack. Evandale trying to make something of this. Picked up there and turned around the corner with Morrison. And it's out in front of Gumtree Corner. Couple of massive big trees over there. And boundary throw in, once again a little bit wonky, and that's caused a ruck infringement. And Gary Bass will give the free kick to the old Scotch player there in Briggs, was it? Kicks it right down towards centre wing. Routledge has taken the mark for Evandale. He'll swing inboard once again, kicking it down towards centre half forward. The pack set themselves. No one can take the mark. Down to ground again. Battle of strength here. Pack developing, Stacks on the mill, and underneath somewhere there's a footy. And now there's going to be an old Scotch free kick out of this, and it's going to be taken by Hughes, and there's going to be a 50-metre penalty. So with the aid of the 50-metre penalty, what can the little man do? He goes short, leading to the ball and taking the mark there for Old Scotch. Directing the traffic a bit there with the umpire. It is 30-something. 33, and that's Ayres. So Ayres having the shot on goal, goes right down to the teeth of goal. Mark's going to be paid. I thought it was juggled over the goal line, but no, Mark's going to be paid to Bell. Yep. So we can see the angle there. Quite a difficult angle as he goes back. Once again, I love the way players get all perturbed about where other players are standing. That's the umpire's job, son. And he's put it through. So, Raph Bell gets the third Old Scotch goal in this first term. And they now move away to 3-1-19. Evandale just with that one minor score on the scoreboard. As we've actually been out there on the ground or playing in this first quarter for 25 minutes, but of course we had that 6-7 minute delay there while the injured player was being attended to. Back in the centre and the big men fly once again. Tyler Brown doing a tireless job in the ruck for Evandale. Stacks on the mill. Sasha Atkins in there quickly and says, give the ball to me, and he'll throw it up. So the big men do battle again. Brown. And not going far out of this pack. Bit of a tug of war developed. Brown gets the kick away. Overrun there by Devine. And back down to the centre wing where the mark's taken there by Ayres, I think it is. He's quickly on with the game. Well, here's a chance for Old Scotch if he can pick it up, and he does. Does a bit of a dance around, does Swallow. Goes down towards full forward. One-on-one contest down there. Ball touched down, but it's Scotch roaming the pack over the back. Oh, into an open goal. Goes Ayres, the captain for Old Scotch, and he puts another major on the board for them in this first term. They're fourth, so they move on to 4-1-25. And Evandale still stuck on that 1 point. So the ruck can get ready to do battle again. Angus Lyon in there, and Tyler Brown for Evandale. Good crowd in here for this game. which is usually the case on grand final day for the NTFA, whether it be Division 2 or Division 1. They usually come to support the local footy. The big boys do battle again, thumped out of there by a very busy Routledge in this quarter. The race is on. The Thistles get it down inside 50 once again. Evandale's defence being really tested in this first term. And there'll be a free kick down there, and it will be taken in that last line of defence by Evandale. He comes to the broadcast side of the ground, which in actual fact is the Hobart Road side of the ground, for those of you at home that are wondering. Yet another ball up in this first term. Thrown high in the air. Ball knocked down. Players go in hard once again. Routledge arrives on the scene, as does umpire Atkins. And once again, a bit of a pull and a tug. Save your energy, boys, there's a long way to go. Jack Maher being dragged out of there by his opponent. And there's a bit going on the outside of the pack. And pretty stupid action, and now there's a lot going on. The umpire's got the footy going and leave the fight to sort itself out. Right down there, an attack in front of goal. Old Scotch player thrown out of the way, and the Evandale player will get a free kick. So the ball's cleared out there once again outside 50, but Old Scotch standing firm, get it back in. Ball taken by Hingston, I think it was, and he's driven it down towards full forward. Little man on the front of the pack, kicked off the ground, and that's going to be a goal. And that man kicking it off the ground was number 48, Sattler. So Old Scotch sharing the scoring around in this first term. They've had 4 goal kickers in their 5-goal tally of 5-1-31, and Evandale really struggling to get that ball forward of the centre circle. They're still on that 1 point. So, a bit of a dust-up out here on this half-forward flank a while ago. Umpire's got the game moving quickly, and it eventually sorted itself out. And Old Scotch now with another major on the board. Angus Lyon in there jumping against his Evandale opponent, and free kick's been given away in that centre circle this time. They come sideways and it'll land on the chest out here of Rattray. Rattray goes on the left foot, down inside 50. Once again, Scotch at the fall of the ball, and here's a nice mark taken by Evandale. They spear it back inside 50. That mark was taken by Thomas. And now, here's the chance for the first major for the Evandale boys, showing his opponent the footy. And Evandale should score a major. He's no more than 25 out of goal on a very slight angle. And he'll go back. Siren sounds to end the quarter. And he's missed the goal. So, boys looking a bit niggly here at the minute to end the quarter. Quite stupid, really. And proves very little. So, the boys go to their respective huddles. And at a quarter time, the scoreboard tells us that Old Scotch have had a pretty good first term. They lead 5-1, 31 to just Evandale on those 2 points, that final point coming right on that final siren. Goal kickers for Scotch in that first quarter. Sam Briggs got 2, Stephen Sattler got 1, Rafe Bell 1, and Mitchell Ayres, their captain, was the other goal kicker. So they go to their huddles for the quarter time break, and we'll be back with the second quarter for you shortly. So we're about ready to go here in the second term. The Old Scotch boys ready to go. The Evandale huddle still trying to work out their tactics for this second term. They'll go to the city end, of course, in this term. And now they take up their positions, the Evandale side. Crowd leaving the ground. So we get the second term underway. Evandale with a lot of work to do. Old Scotch leading by 5 goals. Ball being pushed out there towards centre wing. Free kick for pushing the back, and it's going to go to Evandale. So they'll drive the ball in towards their front 50. Oh, dropped what he should have taken there, did Adam Monson. Goes back in after the footy. Oh, they're going in hard, the boys, and not frightened to put body on body. Leading in the race for the ball out there, all on his own, is Jack Oliver. Gets to it, brings it inside, and the mark's going to be taken there by Crisp. So Crisp quickly on with play, and lovely weighted kick lands in the arms of Todd Daking, and Daking 35 out of goal. Once again on the slight angle, and he will shoot for his side's 6th major. He's gone back as far as he's actually got to kick it. Long run up by the little fella. So Todd Daking lining up, approaches the man on the mark. It's off to the right-hand side and through for a minor score. Just the second minor score for Old Scotch Taking a nice mark there for Evandale was Fisher, quickly off by hand. Lands in the hands there of Stick. Stick quickly around. Not exactly the best place to probably put the footy on this ground out there, but anyway, it's come back inside. Now they've got a chance to go short. Spins around the tackle. Hands it off. Goes to ground. Important to keep your feet. And Old Scotch tries to squeeze the ball out of defence. Mark taken, plays on. He's got tackled from behind and he'll be penalised. And the free kick will go to Evandale. To be taken there for them by Ethan Becker. Becker goes down towards full forward, taking it off the pack, long hands, bundled off the ball. Just a little bit too physically strong for Evandale. The Old Scotch side, and they force the ball out over the boundary line adjacent to the behind post, deep in the Evandale attacking zone. In comes the footy. Knock it down in front of goal does the Evandale ruckman. No one can get it out of that pack. Try to squeeze it out, Stacks on the mill, and there's no alternative for umpire Atkins but to come in and throw the ball up. Just outside that goal square in front of the Evandale goal. Once again there's a tug of war, and once again there's a whistle on play and we'll have another throw up. In there doing battle is Angus Lyon for Old Scotch. Comes to the ground. It's snapped off the ground for a goal. And Fisher, Stuart Fisher, number 35, was the goal kicker there for the Eagles. So they've got their first major on the board. Almost 4 minutes into this second term. So 5-2-32 leads 1-2-8. Can this be a sign of something good for Evandale? Big men coming back into the centre to do battle. Umpire Samet with the ball. Line in there to do battle for Old Scotch against Brown of Evandale. This time it goes forward toward the Scotch attacking zone. Evandale trying to work the ball out of defence. Oh, bustling his way through there in a big way was Rigby. Finally got, there's a front on tackle and that's got to be down the ground. Unnecessary, I thought, by the Old Scotch player there in Oliver. Dumped the Evandale player unceremoniously. And I reckon the match review committee will have a look at that one. I reckon that was a bit late. So, down we go towards centre half forward. Struggling the ball forward. Old Scotch kick it out of there through McAdam. Bouncing ball out towards centre wing. Evandale with the numbers out there. Can they make something of it? Yes, they can. Here's a chance for them to go back into attack. And they do. And the mark taken out there. Almost on that 50 for Evandale. Go down towards the scoreboard. Floating ball. Down the ground it comes. Oh, a big pack of players in there again. And can Old Scotch get it out of defence? They run it out of defence this time, bring it back into the centre square. Evandale can put it back in through the agency of Brown. He goes forward looking for and finding a teammate, and that teammate is Jeff Stick, the vice-captain, or one of the vice-captains for his side, Andrew Lydon being the other one. And Stick now can take this shot on goal. And he's got the good angle. We'll follow the ball as it goes towards goal. Floating, didn't quite get there. Old Scotch come through and take the ball out of defence again, defending towards this broadcast side. And it's out over the boundary line for another throw in, midway into the 50-metre zone. There's the ball tossed into the air. Evandale player has 2 swipes at it, comes to ground. They squeeze it out of defence. Go to ground. A lot of packs developed in this game, even before half-time. Usually see more of them as the players get tighter, but we've seen plenty in this first half. Working towards the 7-minute mark of this second term, sorry. Old Scotch taking the ball backwards. Now they bring it out towards that half-back flank centre wing area. Quick hands, bouncing ball comes off the leg of Brown. Old Scotch doing battle in there through the agency of Daking. Ball's being pushed forward, is it? No, Daking's going to get the kick. Goes on the right foot, down towards their front 50. Swooping on the ball, Old Scotch. Long kick, that's going to bounce through. And it did. For Zammit. Number 48 it was, said the man. Sattler getting his second goal. Sattler getting his second goal and the team's 6th. So they move on to 6-2-38. Straight kicking by Old Scotch. He swooped on that ball like a hungry seagull. A bit of a wobbly old kick, but it was good enough to bounce through when it hit the ground and through for a major. So Brown continues to do the ruck work for Evandale in that centre circle. And pushing the back, so the big fella will take the free kick. Goes by hand, gets it off to the running Rigby. Rigby drives it down inside 50. Can Evandale get a quick reply? Bouncing ball out towards the scoreboard. Close to the boundary line out there, kicked off the ground. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Plenty of interchanges going on here at the moment. Players, runners, going everywhere. Oh, good pick up by Old Scotch. He's caught with the ball and thrown it away, said the umpire. I think he actually might have handballed it. The umpire wasn't in the best position to see that, but he was tackled with the footy, and Evandale get the resultant free kick. And lucky not to get a 50-metre penalty there, the Old Scotch player. And here they come forward, and the mark's been taken there by Stick, quickly off by hand, down towards full forward, and a sprecky's been taken by the big man down there. And I think it might be Crawford. He tumbled to the ground. I think he got number 18 on his saddlecloth, and he'll line up and have a shot at goal. And he's got it. So who was that, boys? So a bit of a better scoring quarter for the Evandale boys this time. And Jai Burke, the goal kicker. So, Evandale have got their second major kicking towards that city end of the ground, making the scoreboard look a little bit more respectable for them. They trail by 24. Tossed up in the centre by umpire Bass. Evandale going forward again. The Old Scotch defence getting a bit of pressure put on them in this term. And Stacks on the mill out there. And we'll have a ball up. So they go forward again. And here's a chance for a mark. No, he couldn't hang on to the ball as it slid out of his hands there. McAdam. Players flying out of the pack. Here's a chance. No, it's going to be an Evandale free kick. No one too sure whose free kick it is, but it is an Evandale free kick, and they'll drive it out towards centre wing. Good mark taken out there by Scotch. Called to play on. Does so now with a high drop punt. Oh, big leap from the back there for Evandale by Thomas, I think it was. And through for a minor score. (6-3) now, Old Scotch. Leading Evandale 2-2-14. Waiting to bring the ball back into play. They come to this broadcast side of the ground. 1-on-1 there, and the free kick will go to Evandale. Advantage paid. They bring it down here towards centre wing, and the mark taken there by Lydon. Lydon undecided where to go, so he hugs it around the boundary line. Nice sliding mark taken there for them by Howard. Howard quickly on with play. Right foot drop punt, just inside 50. Roved off the pack there by Najelki. Gets it not far enough as it turned out. Gives the Old Scotch defenders a chance to bring it out. Monson playing a good game in defence all game so far for his team. Oh, here's a chance for Evandale over the back. Read the drop of the ball beautifully, did Vittori. And he'll put it out towards centre wing, and the mark taken out there for Old Scotch by Swallow. In towards centre half forward, pushed out of the contest, but getting back to the ball quickly once again is Rigby. He's been a stout defender for the Evandale side, Ben Rigby. On hands and knees, they pick it up, drive it back, but here's Old Scotch with the numbers. Daking gets the ball off. Sneak it inside 50 again. Play on, said the umpire. No push in the back there. And the little fella swoops on it again. Through the agency there of, I don't know who it was. It was Sattler again. He's been a busy player, Sattler. Wasn't named in the original side, Sattler, but he's out there, the number 48. And there'll be a boundary throw in the forward pocket. Punch down there by Briggs. Snap on goal and off to the right hand side by Swallow, and another minor score. So they play on from full back. Rigby again, I think it is, bringing the ball out here. Monson in front, can't take the mark, brings it to ground however. Long handball out of the pack, finds Chorley. Chorley will drive it down into the forward pocket. Too far for his teammate, out over the line on the full. So we'll have another defensive kick in here for Evandale. Trying to get it out of that defensive zone. Been hard work for them. Driving it in there once again was Swallow. He's been busy in the last few minutes, and this time it's out of play. On the full, on the other side of the ground, and a resultant free kick to be taken by Evandale. So the Eagles battling to hold on in this second term. It's been a much better quarter for them, and that in turn is out over the boundary line on the full at Gumtree corner. And not too sure what's going on here. The ambulance moving away. You can see it going past the big trees over there. The ambulance with the injured player, Wade, from Evandale, Wade Devereaux. The paramedic's car there as well. So Sattler with a big kick at goal. I'll tell you what, I think it's gone all the way. It has. So Sattler coming into this side as a late replacement has got 3 majors on the board for his team as they move on to 7-4-46, leading Evandale 2-2-14, and we've travelled some 16 minutes in this second term. He, of course, was named in the senior squad, Sattler, so didn't make the cut there, so come back to the reserves and having a big influence on this game for his team. Once again, going forward from the centre bounce, Old Scotch. Lands in the hands of Daking. He's been busy also for his side in this term. Evandale fighting to hang on, make that scoreboard a little more respectable. Scotch standing firm out there on the centre wing, drive it back in, comes to ground, picked up quick hands out there by Downey. Once again they go forward to centre half forward, a little nudge there in the back, but the umpire said that is okay from Hardacre and he's taken the defensive mark. Winds up, ooh, pushed out of the contest there I thought, but no, the umpire said that's okay. No, he's not. He's going to give it to the little fella that was pushed out of the contest for Evandale, and he'll take the resultant free kick. No, he's not going to take the kick that way, said umpire Atkins. So it'll come back where Dylan Bass will get the advantage of a 50-metre penalty as well. Umpire Atkins trotting him down the ground, so he'll be in advance of the centre circle here. He winds up, doesn't take full advantage of the 50, kicks it down in the direction of Monson there for Old Scotch, who couldn't quite get to the contest, and it's going to be a held ball and a toss-up. Brown. No, it wasn't Brown in that time, I've heard in the ruck contest, but late hit there on the Old Scotch player, and number 59, Phil Thomas, for Evandale might be in a bit of trouble. Meantime, back out on the centre wing. Old Scotch have got the footy in the hands of Crisp, I think it is. He brings it inboard, lands it in the hands of Morrison. Morrison brings it through the centre square, and clever mark taken there by Dakin, continuing to be busy all this term. Dakin snapped over the shoulder there by Old Scotch, right down in front of goal. Did anyone touch it? Swooping on it, couldn't quite get his foot to the ball, still in play, and hit the post, said the goal umpire, so it'll be a minor score for Old Scotch. So we work our way towards the end of this second term, the halfway mark of the grand final between Old Scotch and Evandale in the Division 2 reserves. NTFA grand final day, coming out Monson, ball comes to ground, Evandale struggle at forward, needs to pick it up here, he does, he's having a little trouble, but he finally found the handle on the footy, tries to step through the traffic mar, and then penalised. Quickly on with play is little Chorley. Evandale have to do something to get this out of this defensive area and try and split the game up a little bit. Lands in the hands of Rigby. Now Rigby has kicked the ball well on most occasions. Looking for somewhere to go, not much on offer, so he's going to have to drive it around this wing. I know, falling into the gap there for him was Becker, and he'll take the mark from the short kick, but they're still inside their defensive 50. He'll bring it towards the wing. Up over the back, almost took the mark there, was Monson, and he's going to get the free kick. So Monson trying to direct the traffic. He'll go on the left. Does. Can he find a teammate? No. Yes. Here he is again. The busy little man Sattler reads the pack beautifully, and my word, that looked like a goal from here, but the goal umpire was right on it and said no, and another minor score. So the Scotch small men, Sattler, Daking, been very busy in this second term. So Rigby out of defence. Oh, dropped what he should have taken there. Then didn't have, no, he's been penalised for illegal disposal. The Evandale player in Vittori, and Scotch will get the free kick. And the man on the mark stands about 10 metres inside 50. He's going to have to kick this from 50. Not much of an angle to contend with, but it's going to have to be a fairly long ball. It is a fairly long ball, but it's going to drop in the square. Oh, reading it off the pack and putting it through for a goal. Alex Downey there for Old Scotch. And another major on the board. Good play by Downey. Got to the fall of the footy and quickly got it down onto his boot. Goal line unprotected and through for another major. That's their 8th. So it's 8-6-54, leading 2-2-14, and we're at the 23-minute mark almost of this second term. So, can Evandale redeem a goal here in these last few minutes of the second term? They go forward, sells the dummy, gets it inside 50, and that's a nice mark there for Evandale. And he's going to go back and have a shot on goal. So the Eagles need this one. Been a better quarter for them, but they didn't have a major on the board at a quarter time, just 2 minor scores. They've at least kicked 2 goals in the quarter. This will land right in the teeth of goal. Can't get it out of there. Stacks on the mill, roly-poly, pull and tug, push and shove, and Old Scotch finally get it out. Monson providing a path for his teammate to come through. Sattler, he couldn't. Here they go out of defence now. Quick hands there from Hingston. Gets it down and the mark's been taken here on centre wing in front of our broadcast position. Quickly fire it up forward. Might have had a bit of a problem with the sun there, the Old Scotch player, and there's going to be a free kick paid here for holding the man, and it'll go to Evandale's David Pearton. Quickly to his feet, gets it on. Mark will be taken by Routledge, is it? No, it wasn't Routledge, I don't think. I think it might have been Najalka, and he gets it down further into their attacking zone. Here go Old Scotch out of defence around that far side of the ground, and the mark will be taken there by George McAdam. He's quickly onto his feet and away. Down towards centre half forward, 1-on-1 duel here, and the mark's going to be taken and paid to Kyle Ayres. So Ayres, late in this term, gone over the 24-minute mark, and we'll see what Ayres can do with this footy in this last few seconds of play. Well inside 50, he'll kick it from probably 30, and long, hard, high and handsome, says the goal umpire. So another major on the board for Old Scotch, and they walk away at half time with a good, handsome lead here at the end of the second term. They lead 9-6. Is it 9-6? Yeah, 9-6-60, leading Evandale 2-2-14 at half time. Goal scorers for Old Scotch. We've got Ayres with 1. That's Mitchell Ayres. Carl Ayres with 1, Bell with 1, 2 to Briggs in that first quarter, the big fella down in the forward line, 1 to Alex Downey and 3 to Stephen Sattler, all coming in that second term. And for the Eagles, Jai Burke has 1 and Stuart Fisher has 1. As the players and the umpires leave the ground for the half-time break, we'll be back with the third quarter when the players return. So welcome back to our coverage of the NTFA Division 2 Reserves Grand Final here at Youngtown this afternoon. First of the NTFA Grand Finals for season 2013. The game, of course, between Old Scotch and Evandale. Old Scotch coached by Nathan Warren and Evandale coached by Stuart Nankimus. Nathan Bester on the siren signals the start of the third term. And away we go. Brown in there doing the ruck work for Evandale as he has done for most of the day. Tyler Brown has tirelessly battled along, and here's a very good player in that second term, Stephen Sattler for Old Scotch, getting the footy, flicking it out in the direction of his teammate there in Daking, who also played pretty well. Ball down inside 50 for Old Scotch early in this third term. Old Scotch having a 46-point lead as we start this third term. And here they go forward again. Quick snap on goal. Evandale defence will lose the footy there at the crucial stage. That allows Sattler to pick it up and have another shot on goal. He's already got 3. Evandale will run this ball out. Kick it into the centre of the ground. Loose man. Should have marked it. Didn't. Went through his hands. That was Rattray. Ball cries the crowd. A big crowd in here at the moment in preparation for the senior grand final after this one's a run and one. Scotch picking up the ball on their 50. Gets the handball away when tackled, out over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Sun shining brightly at the moment. Went behind a cloud during the half-time break, and the wind was quite cool down there in amongst the crowd. The ball back into play. Pack developing. Had a lot of ball ups in that first half. Evandale trying to run the ball out of defence. The numbers are with Old Scotch. Ride the bump well. Down to ground we go again. Picked up there for Old Scotch by number 49, Truscott. He wheels around, gets it in, pushing the back. No, said the umpire, that was okay in the contest. A hefty bump as the ball comes out here towards centre wing. Evandale on the move down inside their 50. Lost the ball in the sun, I think, there, the little fella for Evandale, but battling on and picking the ball up, running into an open goal for the Eagles, and missing was Jeff Stick, the vice-captain, through for a minor score. Could have done with that one, the Eagles, to start this third term. They've just kicked 2 in the game, both of those coming in that second term. Ball kicked out, marked there for Old Scotch by Will Morrison. He'll go round the outside as well. Ball on that centre wing. Old Scotch win the race for the footy. Down in the direction of... crunched there in the marking contest was one of the better players in the first half, Monson. Now once again down inside 50. They struggle it forward towards the boundary line down there adjacent to the behind post, and that's where it'll go out of play and we'll have a boundary throw in. Pitches being brought to you once again, we remind you, by Carter Productions. Your video, audio and film transfer specialists in George Street in Launceston. Anything that you want transferred to DVD or CD, take your old music, take your old film into Arnie and he'll be only too happy to transfer it over for you. 113 George Street. Opposite the old Red Lines building there, you'll find Arnie upstairs waiting to provide the service for you. Old Scotch marking out there in front of the scoreboard. Mark taken there for them by Mitch Ayres, the captain of the team. Haven't added to their half-time score yet. Here's a chance for them as he comes in. Oh, that's got plenty of height in the footy, but it's off to the far side and through for a minor score. So 9-7-61. They have a lead that you would think could not possibly be eroded the way that Evandale are playing at the moment, but footy's a strange game. Only takes a few minutes to get a roll on and anything can happen. Sattler dropped what he should have taken. We've seen a few drop marks. Now on the left foot, he drives it towards goal, and that's a great goal by the little fella, his 4th major in the grand final. And he's on fire, the little man, and he puts the 10th major on the board for his side. 10-7-67 leads 2-3-15. And the Thistles are looking the goods in the grand final in Division 2 reserves. As we mentioned in that first half, they've had some big scores this year, 192 points. They kicked against Perth, 182 against the Tamer Cats, 154 against Fingal. So they're used to making the scoreboard tick over. Evandale looking to work the ball out of defence, and they'll do that this time through Rigby, I think it is. Bringing the ball back into the centre corridor. That's got to be a free kick to Evandale, surely, and it will be. Rattray interfered with, and as he went for the mark, and he'll take the free kick. So Rattray, he'll try to bring the ball out here towards the centre wing. Oh, that's a great one-handed mark there by Stuart Fisher. He's been one of their goal kickers in the game. Drives it down towards the front of the edge of the goal square. Comes back out on towards this half-forward flank here on our broadcast side of the ground. And battling for the ball, it's out on the full, is it? No, it's deliberate. And Evandale will take the free kick. Grabbing the ball in a hurry there, Becker. He squares the ball up, but it wasn't the best square up. Mark dropped by Lyon when he should have taken it, the big fella. Comes off, or sells the dummy well there, the Evandale player, and nearly lost it. That's Bullman putting it down, trying to take the mark down there, the big fella in brown. He can't. Comes back out, squatting underneath the ball and taking the mark there for Evandale is Jack Marr. Jack Marr, one of the additions to the side today, wasn't originally named in the team, but he's lining up for goal now. Man on the mark about 30 metres out. Approaches the man on the mark, gives it plenty of air, but that too is off to the near side for another minor score. Moves their score on to 2-4-16. Trailing Scotch, 10-7-67. Almost 6 minutes gone in this third term. Races on out there on centre wing. Scotch the first to the ball, avoids the tackle well, gets the handball away into the hands there of Ayres. Ayres puts it inside 50. Ball comes to the ground, picked up by Evandale. A wayward handball there off the hands of Fisher. Now Scotch running into an open goal, and he's got it. And the goal kicker, George McAdam, puts through his first major in the game. His team's 11th. So they open up that margin a little further now. 11-7. 73. Leads 2-4-16 in this reserve grade Division 2 grand final. Ball back in the centre of the ground. Brown in there to do battle with Lyon. The big men fly. Down the ball comes to ground. Evandale just not handling it cleanly. Goes back to Lyon. He puts a long kick out into no man's land. Bouncing ball out there trying to get it is Daking. Comes to ground for Evandale to clear it out of defence through the agency of Lydon. Lyon falls over, swooping onto the ball there for Evandale. I think it might have been Rattray. He pushes it forward and the mark's taken there for them. But the turnover comes. Got a little bit excited, did the Evandale player Bullman, and lost the ball. Now Scotch take it back around that far side centre wing. Evandale with the aid of numbers. Get it off. Hard up against the boundary on centre wing. Fire it in towards the 50. And the mark's been taken on that far side for them. He'll swing inboard. He'll be called to play on. He was. Gets it inside 50, but a strong mark taken there in defence for Scotch by McAdam. So he's a goal kicker 1 minute down on the forward line. Now he's back taking marks in the defensive 50. Ball on the centre wing. Here goes Brown off the outside of the boot. Fires it down and the big fella takes the mark down there in front of goal. And we're hoping he turns the right way for us to see his number. Very kind of him, and he did, and it was Jai Burke. Burke been one of their goal kickers in the game thus far. He'll now line up for his second major, and boy, do the Eagles need it. Here he comes. 25 out. High kick straight over the goal umpire's head. So Burke gets his second. Evandale get their third. They move along to 3-4-22 and they trail 11-7-73. So ball back in the centre of the ground with one of the orange people. Up it goes. Line gets the tap down. Trying to work the ball away there was Downey. Out in the direction of Hingston. He put his head down over the footy but got bumped off it. Evandale player chasing the footy there was Lydon. Couldn't control it. Rigby tries to get out of the pack. Couldn't. Back into the centre circle it comes. Lyon with the quick handball, gets it over the top in the direction of Truscott. They go forward again, Scotch, and standing in the way firm in defence down there for the Eagles was Bass. Bass will bring it towards centre wing. Mark taken there by Swallow. He's quickly on with playing on the right foot, puts it down in the direction of a teammate, but standing firm down there was Rigby. Had a lot of work to do. The Evandale defenders, that was a good kick. 60-metre kick out towards centre wing, found the mark, and leading for the ball up there was Bullman, Aidan Bullman, and he takes the ball, gets it quickly on. Go to ground a lot, the Evandale players. He gets up with a footy, high kick, go across the face of goal, bouncing ball, and through for a minor score. No, we're not too sure here what it was. So, field umpire Bass having a bit of a discussion with the goal umpire Whiteley down there, and we've decided that the ball's gone actually out over the boundary line. And I think that was the right call. So, throws it in. Evandale tapped the ball down. A quick snap on goal there by Becker, and Becker's bounced it through. So, two majors to that airport end of the ground in this quarter by Evandale, the end of the ground that they couldn't score at in the first term when they just ended up with two behinds for the first term. They've put two through in the last few minutes of play, kicking to that end of the ground, and they've moved their tally on to 4-4-28. Trailing Scotch 11-7-73. Still in no great danger of defeat, I think, Old Scotch, the way the game's been played, but who knows? Umpire Atkins tosses the ball up in the centre of the ground. The big men do battle once again. Comes out here towards centre wing. Here's Sattler underneath the fall of the ball. Couldn't mark it, but he went back in after and got it. Kicked off the ground there in a hurry by McAdam. Out into no man's land, leading in the race for the ball. Evandale out there through Matthew Rice. He picks it up, gives it off, and away they come out of defence. Kick it into the centre square, and the mark will be taken there for them by Rattray. Tough little character, Rattray. He kicks it out here. Oh, falls short. The lead was on, but it was cut off there, falling into the hole for Old Scotch by Swallow. Swallow not too sure what's on offer here, so he's going to give the handball off to a teammate. He gives a sneaky little kick out, and away they come out of defence now, Old Scotch, and run the ball into the centre square once again. Numbers with Evandale, got to the drop of the ball beautifully, did Bass. He's kicked it forward. Here's an open goal for the big fella, and he's put it through. Jai Burke getting his second goal in the term, and he's third for the game. Brings Evandale up to 5 goals, 5-4-34. Is this the resurgence that the Evandale Eagles need in this grand final? They've kicked 3 goals in this term to that far end, and Old Scotch have just added the 2 since half time. So they're actually outscoring their opponents kicking to that airport end in this third term. Still a big difference on the scoreboard. 39-point difference. Big margin to peg back. Funnier things have happened. So Old Scotch trying to win that ball. Through comes Monson. Ball down inside 50. Evandale stand firm. Push it back out of defence. Bouncing ball. Who's going to win the race? The big race is on. Pushed off the ball there was the Evandale player in Jeff Stick. Walking through the traffic nicely there, Evandale. Get it out in the direction of Brown. And Tyler Brown has worked very hard for his team today. Ball smothered there by Sam Briggs. Started off well in the first term, Briggs. Had 2 goals in the opening quarter. And now there's going to be a free kick paid here off the ball to the Old Scotch player in Chorley. So Chorley struggles the ball forward. Not a good kick, however, and getting in to cut it off Brodie Bass. He's come into the game a bit in this third quarter. Gives the handball off to Rigby. Bit of a push and a shove and a good mark here on centre wing as the crowd cheer to Jack Marr. He squares it up, goes in where Rattray will take the mark, is it? It was. He goes right across the other side of the ground where it'll be taken out there for them by Thomas, and he in turn gave it off to Bullman. Bullman goes down towards full forward. Was that a push in the back? I think so. Fell right on the middle of his back, mate, and it'll be an Old Scotch free kick. Jai Burt, probably a bit tired after his mammoth effort this quarter. He's kicked 2 goals. That's a good mark to Evandale out there on the centre wing. Quickly to his feet, plays on, drives it back inside 50 as a couple of balloons go floating high in the sky over the southern end goal here, and it's out of play. Half forward flank, Evandale's attacking 50. Boundary umpire winds up. Kind of gets it a bit off target. Landed before anyone could get to it. Pack developing over there. Players getting tired as the quarter wears on. Just over 17 minutes gone. Now, Old Scotch try to work it out by hand. Crisp getting the handball over the head, but Evandale win out. Go back inside 50. Burke got behind his opponent, but was good enough to work his way to the front and win the footy. Stick down there, can't pick the footy up. He's going to get it back and runs into an open goal and misses. That would have been a handy one to rejuvenate the Eagles. Working hard in this quarter though, the Evandale side. There's the kick out of defence, lands at defensive 50, punched away. The boundary line will be the winner, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Once again, the ball drifts away from the ruckman. There's a whistle on play. It's going to be an Evandale free kick. Here comes the lead from full forward. Can he get it? Yes, he does. And that's Becker sliding in to take the mark. Already kicked one for the term, Becker. On a pretty tight angle out there, and would be kicking across the breeze, I would think, from that pocket. Normally you would be. So he's coming in for a deliberate shot at goal. Approaches the man on the mark, gives it plenty of air. It's not going to be a straight one through for a minor score. And moves that tally on to 36. Short kick in, marked by Crisp. He goes further wide out on the half-forward flank to Gumtree corner, and he in turn takes it around the centre wing. Big leap there by Scotch. Couldn't hang on to the footy, and it's out over the boundary line for another throw in. 25 minutes, no time on. We had a big delay in the first quarter with an injury. Evandale worked the ball forward again. That's a good falling mark by the Old Scotch player, who's got himself a bit confused as to which way he should be going. That's Crisp. Had his hands on the footy a few times in this term, particularly in the later part of it. And now Evandale on centre wing. Come forward once again. They've been peppering the ball forward a lot. Haven't been able to penetrate as much as they'd like, I think, into that forward line, but they've certainly been turning the ball back from centre wing and half back on numerous occasions in this quarter. Here's a chance for Old Scotch to go forward. Brown put off the footy, picked up there by a teammate, and that's a crunching tackle, and pushed in the back in the marking contest for Evandale was Bullman, who's been busy as well, and he'll take the resultant free kick. So Bullman brings it down to centre wing. Mark taken there by Marr. Marr goes forward. One-on-one contest down there. Was that a free kick in the back? No, said the umpire. And Evandale struggled it forward again. Bounces over. Oh, big Jai Burke got the foot to it, but it couldn't get it around the corner. And yet another minor score. Quickly on with play from full back. Out towards half back. Punched away in the contest and out over the boundary line. The little boundary umpire down here, stuck on the spot in front of us. He's out of the play, so he's having a good look at what's going on the other side. This time the boundary umpire gets it in straight. Taken off the pack there by Dakey. Driven out towards centre wing. Boundary line will be the winner. And no, it's on the... I'm not too sure what happened there. Anyway, it's a free kick, or it's a kick to Scotch. Over there on that far away side of the ground. Now what's happening? Played on outside the boundary line, did he? Yep, he did too. So the boundary umpire will get to do his work again over there on that far side. He winds up. There he goes. Once again, floats away to that our left-hand side from the commentary position here. And stalemate developing there. Stacks on the mill, the big pack develop. And Evandale are going to get a free kick out of this. And give it to me. Says Becker, I think it was. He's kicked it down in the direction of Burke. Burke has a bit of trouble turning around the corner. Then he disposes of the Old Scotch player, crunching into the back of his opposition there was Stuart Fisher for Evandale, and there'll be a result free kick to Old Scotch to be taken there for them. I think it might have been Downey. Anyway, Old Scotch getting the ball out towards that centre wing. Long kick, bouncing towards their front 50. Players going, tumbling over left, right and centre out there. Ball comes inside 50. A bit of a nudge there from the Old Scotch attacker. Evandale, once again with the numbers in defence, can work it out of there through Pearton if he can get the handle on the footy. Got a bit of a high tackle, I thought. Play on, said the umpire. They've still got the numbers, the Eagles, and can they get free? Yes, they can. No. There's going to be a free kick paid here, and it's going to go to the Old Scotch player who was taken off the ball, without the ball, and it's Stuart McDonald. Through for a point. Famous name, McDonald. In fact, I've got something of McDonald's here in my hand at the moment, having a swig at it. So here come the Eagles around this centre wing. Jeff Stick in pursuit of the footy. Picked up there for Old Scotch and gets the handball away, but he's going to be penalised, and the free kick will be taken there by Dylan Bass for a good tackle on McFadgen. Tries to square it up. Made a few mistakes like that, trying to be a little bit fancy sometimes, the Evandale boys. Pearton it was then trying to squeeze the ball round. Here goes Old Scotch through the agency of Oliver. Oliver with a high kick out there towards centre wing. The race is on once again for the bouncing ball. First to it will be Evandale's number 38, I thought it was, but it wasn't. Anyway, there's a whistle again here, is there? Yes, there is. Nathan Bester does the best he can on the siren. And at three-quarter time, as the players come into the three-quarter time huddle, in this Division 2 Reserves Grand Final on NTFA Grand Final Day here at Youngtown, we've got Old Scotch leading at three-quarter time, as you can see there in our picture. 11-8-74, leading Evandale 5-7-37. Goal kickers to this stage of the game. Stephen Sattler for Old Scotch has 4, 2 to Sam Briggs, both of those coming in the first quarter. Alex Downey with 1, 1 to George McAdam, 1 to Bell, 1 to Kyle Ayres and 1 to Mitchell Ayres, and for Evandale, Jai Burke is their major goal scorer with 3, and 1 each to Ethan Becker and Stuart Fisher.
Today's grand final brought to you by the NTFA and their sponsors, James Bow Draft, My State, Bendigo Bank, Cougar Sportswear, Sport First in Mowbray, Workstate, Elastoplast, Rico and National Tires, Country Club and BD Builders. At quarter time, Old Scotch were 5 goals 1, Evandale 2 behind. At half time, it was Old Scotch 9-6, Evandale 2-2. At three-quarter time, it's Old Scotch 11-8, scoring 2 goals in that quarter, and Evandale 5-7, adding 3 goals. Remind you there's no smoking within 20 metres of the playing arena, and pleased to see so many people adhering to that responsibility. We thank them very much for that. There is a raffle being conducted on the ground, and sellers are going around from car to car. The raffle tickets are $2 each, or $3 for $5. The prize is a fully signed Hawthorn jumper by all of the 2013 senior players. If aren't a Hawthorn supporter, then you can exchange that for $200. So the raffle being conducted, it will be drawn at half time in the senior game. A 2013 senior player signed Hawthorn jumper for $200. $2 a ticket, or $3 or $5. And in the
grand final of Division 2 of the NTFA, and Old Scotch go into this final term with a handy 34-point lead. Actually 7-point lead, is it? Yeah, 37-point lead. So first into attack, and out of bounds on the full. Old Scotch. So Evandale get to bring the ball back in there beside the behind post, kick it outside 50. Big leap out there from Tyler Brown, the man that's rucked tirelessly for them all this game. And the boundary line wins once again. So Brown in the ruck there to do battle with Angus Lyon. They've had a titanic struggle all day long, the two big men. They lean on one another, ball comes down, Old Scotch bring it forward, and a tumbling mark taken out in front of goal. And the tumbling mark has been taken by... Who was that, sorry? Oh, Bell. Yep, right. Number 38, goal kicker in the first term, and he's lining up for his second. After that tumbling mark, man on the mark stands probably 10 metres away from the front line on the goal square, stabs at it a bit and he's missed. So that would have put the grand final beyond all doubt. I would have thought an early goal Still couldn't see Scotch getting beaten, but there's a nice mark just inside the centre square for Scotch by McFadgen. Gets it inside 50. Evandale with the numbers will bring it out here in the direction of, pardon me, passed out the centre wing. He's played all right, this fella, in addition to the team, Jack Maher. Gets it back again, goes over the top. He'll get another chance here, Maher. They tumble in over him and he's going to get a free kick for a high tackle. Sasha Atkins racing in. Finds his man there in Rattray. Rattray will go long on the left, out in front of goal. Big leap, reading it well off the pack. Held without the footy, punched away there by Becker. Out into the open spaces. Brown can't find the handle on the footy. Can he get down to it now? He can. Wouldn't mind $1 for every time I've seen an Evandale player go down on their knees today to pick the footy up. So now they've got a chance in the centre square to drive it back in. They do. Tackle with the footy. And umpire Atkins says it'll be a free kick going to Scotch, and it's going in the direction of Downing. So Downey goes towards centre wing. Mark taken out there by the big fella in Briggs. He brings it in. Evandale cut it off once again at the back of the centre square. Thought about playing on, then thought a bit better of it. He goes short. Here he is again. Maher. Wanting someone to come forward to receive the footy, so he's got no alternative but to drive it down long. That's a good defensive mark, just inside 50 to Scotch, and I think that might be Sattler. He'll go to centre wing. Oh, ball comes to ground. That was a nice old heave-ho out of there. Taken by Oliver. He pushes it forward, and here they go again. That might well be Sattler. And Mark taken down there, in fact, by Bell again. And he drives it out in front of goal, but it's got to go back. So we think it's Chorley, in actual fact, with the footy. We'll work it out directly. We only see these fellas once a year, folks, so... No, I can't say folks, that's Kevin Ruddish. People, so... Pretty hard to pick up when you only see them for a couple of hours of a season. And nice mark taken there by Evandale. Plays on quickly, too quickly in fact. He was nabbed in the act and picked up by Fisher. He spun on the tackle, kicks it forward, and getting in the way there's the big ruckman to take the mark. He dishes it off. Back inside they go. Mark dropped by Briggs in there. Comes to ground. Here comes Rigby. He's been solid in defence all day for Evandale, and that's a nice mark taken down there once again by Bullman. He's played a much better second half, Bullman, for Evandale. Goes sideways, and taking the tumbling mark down there is Devine, and Devine will come back and line up. No, it's not Devine, I'm sorry. It's in actual fact Ben Howard, one of the additions to the side's numbers today, so Howard will line up for his first major. And read the wind beautifully. Put it out, looked like in travel it was going to go through for a minor score. The wind grabbed it and blew it straight back over the goal umpire's head. So Howard gets his first goal in the game and his team's sixth major, so 6-7, 43, trails Old Scotch, who are 11-10, 76. So game restarts in the centre. Still in there, doing all the ruck work together, those two big men, Angus Lyon and Tyler Brown. Into the attacking Old Scotch 50 as we travel over the 7-minute mark in this final term. Rigby setting himself for the mark on the front of the pack, couldn't pull it down. Snap on goal and through for a major to Jake Oliver. So another one on board for Scotch. Oliver snapping that one over the shoulder, and he liked it in flight. He did the little dance to celebrate, and we've got a Scotch player coming off here holding a shoulder, not looking real happy, and that might be our major goal kicker for the game. Is it? No, it's not. 33, which in fact is Cale Ayres. So Ayres coming off the ground with that shoulder injury and going on to replace him, number 17, Mitchell Ayres. So an Ayres off and an Ayres on. So we got nowhere with that. Being spun out of the pack there for Evandale and kicking the ball forward. I think it was Becker. Standing the mark now. Ball coming back to centre wing, and that's a nice tumbling mark out there for Old Scotch. He tumbled to the ground when he marked it. And now trying to get around the man on the mark. Drives it in. Out in front of goal. They do battle. Pack developing. Flicked out of there by Old Scotch. He's got a man wide here. Can he get it? No, he can't. Evandale more or less throw it out of the pack. Snap on goal there by Old Scotch's number 18, Dakey. And a bit of a push and a shove afterwards. Boys showing a bit of aggro. And Evandale will get to bring the ball in. Oh dear. Well, I don't know if anyone's seen what I just seen, but Phil Thomas wasn't exactly kind in what he did to Sam Briggs, who now has a look back here and he's going to get the resultant free kick. Is he? No. What's going on here? Right. I would have thought it was to be taken where the greatest advantage was, which is where the ball was, which was at the top end of the goal square. Well, I thought that was the rule, but anyway, what would I know? So, regardless of what I thought, umpire Atkins has awarded the kick to Briggs back here at about the 40-metre mark, and we've got the good angle on it, and he's a bit stirred up, the big fella, after putting through his first major since the first quarter, and his teammates go to him, and that way would think would be the premiership well and truly for Old Scotch. They move on to 13-11, which is what, 89? And lead Evandale 6-7-43. So game underway again. The little man picks it up there for Scotch and Downey. Goes with the handball. Ends up in the hands there of the big ruckman in line. He tries to get it out of the pack. Can't. Evandale still in there doing battle, and I hope in the last few minutes of this game it doesn't deteriorate into something silly, as Old Scotch get the free kick there in the centre of the ground. So can they get it out of there, Old Scotch? They play air ball with it. Sattler trying to win the ball for his teammate, Card. Ends up in the hands there with Shea. Shea puts it down in towards full forward, and there's another Evandale player going to ground there through Devine. They pick it up. Can he run it through, trickle it through for a goal? No, he can't, through for a minor score. So Old Scotch, coached by Nathan Warren. Look like being the premiers in the reserves division of Division 2. They kicked the ball out of defence, a long kick, looking out in the direction there for Monson. Monson played an excellent first quarter in the back line for his side. There's the kick coming in, looking for Hughes. Hughes can't control the footy, it's taken off him, comes back into the hands there of Crisp. Crisp gets the ball out towards centre wing. Leading in the race there is Evandale's David Pearton. He puts it towards a teammate, takes the mark. No, the umpire says come back, and the free kick's going all the way back down here where Pearton will take it. He drives it in, looking for a teammate, and he finds his teammate there in Becker. Hasn't been their worst player, Becker. Put his hands on the footy a fair few times, takes it down towards centre half forward, and that's a nice mark taken down there for Evandale by Ben Howard. He's kicked a goal in this term already. He's going to try and honour the lead there from his teammate this time in Mar. He couldn't get the ball, so Scotch will come away back towards centre wing, and the big fella Tyler Brown drags it down on the second grab. Squares it up, finds his teammate. Off they go back into attack. Here's Marr again. No, it's not Marr. In actual fact, it's Bullman. Can he get around his opponent? He can't. Scotch bring it back towards centre wing. Rattray's had enough. He's gone off. Leading in the race for the ball, Sattler. Oh, poor kick that time by Sattler. Lands in the hands of Vittori. Vittori will go back in looking for and finding his teammate Thomas. Thomas goes to the front edge of the square and finds the big man Rigby. Been busy. He takes it wide out towards 50, and mark's been taken out there by Evandale, and he'll bring it in, and the mark in turn taken there for Evandale by Ben Howard. Now this time Howard will line up for his second goal in this quarter. Looking to get his team's 7th major on the board. Falls a bit short in front of goal, close to the behind post and out over the line, is it? And through for a minor score. So, they move on to 6-9. Hello, he's transgressed over the line on the kick-off, I think, did the Scotch player. And there'll be a ball up on the front edge of the centre square as a result of that transgression in the kick-off. Angus Lyon getting back there to do the ruck work with his Evandale opponent Tyler Brown. Umpire about to throw it up on the front edge of the centre square. There it is, tossed into the air. The big men fly for the Adams pie, and it's rushed through for another minor score to the Eagles. They move on to 6-10, 46. 89 to Old Scotch. They get the ball out of defence again. 2-on-2 here, trying to get the ball there for Scotch, going to the ground. Was it Morrison? It's a free kick to Evandale anyway, and take it on centre wing. Evandale in front, ball punched away by the defence of Scotch. Quick onto it on the ground. That's a long raking kick inside 50. Evandale have the numbers here, 2-on-1. Can he pick it up? The big fella, he gets down to it, then falls over, and it's out over the boundary line for a throw in. No, it's out on the full, says the boundary umpire. So it'll be a Evandale free kick. He puts it down and finds Stick. Stick comes inboard and finds his teammate there in Fisher. Fisher in turn looks for a teammate, couldn't find him. Ball comes to ground. Big tackle, high tackle. put on the Scotch player. Might have been a clash of heads, actually. The Evandale player feeling his face as well. It's going to be a Scotch free kick. And he's up and away, but he's not feeling the best, the Scotch player, and neither is the Evandale player. But there's going to be mark paid down here in attack, and it's going to go to the David Byrne lookalike in Routledge, is it? Yes. Sorry, that's, Alex Downey, little fella for Scotch, sorry. Not unlike a famous NTFA footballer of years gone by, a Hecksmith medalist in David Byrne. Of course, played with Longford in yesteryear. And that's off hands and through for a minor score. Rigby with the mark from the kick in defence. He transfers it to the other side of the ground, looking for a teammate out there. Bad bounce, eludes Pearton. He gets it back, flung by one hand, but he's good enough to get the kick away and lands in the hands of Vittori. He touches it down out there on that outer side wing. Gets around his Scotch opponent, kicks it in. Mark couldn't be taken there by Fisher. Comes to ground. Fisher will go back in and get it. Does. Goes with a long handball out towards centre wing. They found Stick out there, and he goes forward and finds a teammate just on the front edge of the centre square. He played on and had the kick smothered away. Here it comes back. This time it'll be picked up by Evandale with a nice side step there from Vittori. He'll drive it back down over the centre wing. Ball comes to ground. Scotch with the pace out of the pack. Burn free, kick it forward, and the mark's taken out there by the big ruckman, isn't it? Anyway, we've played on out there on the centre wing, bringing in a little bit of a nudge in the back. No, right in front of the umpire, but umpire Atkins was satisfied with that. And the mark goes to Hardacre. So Hardacre, he goes via that centre wing on the far side of the ground. Been a lot of play out there today. Getting through the traffic nicely was Old Scotch. Put it inside, and the mark's taken there by Evandale. He immediately plays on. Out towards Rigby. He goes to ground. So too does his teammate there in Bass. Stacks on the mill, and there's going to be a ball up. Almost 20 minutes gone in this final term. 25 minutes straight. The reserves play. Down towards full forward. A bit of a nudge in the back. Over the back. Stick's got to get to it before it bounces through for a goal. He guards it as it rolls through from behind, and he'll quickly come back into play and give the kick to Rigby. Rigby coming down towards the centre wing here, looking for Lydon. He can't get it. Little fella for Scotch there in Walsh. He does, and he lines up, and he's put it through, has he? No, he hasn't. It bounced on its end, came back into play. Evandale will get it. They fall over. Now he tucks the ball under his arm and brings it out here towards the half-back flank, where the mark will be taken there for them by Hardacre. He's on with play, looking for and finding Lydon. Lydon, one of the vice-captains in the side, swings around, brings it down here in front of our broadcast position. Brought to ground by Evandale. They're in there battling hard for it. It'll be picked up here for them and gives a handball out of the pack. What's his name there in Fisher wasn't ready for it. And now it's going to be a held ball, and umpire Zammit will come in and throw the ball up. Dylan Bass giving the ball back to the umpire. Kicking it out of the pack there, having the ball smothered was Shea. Oh, that's got to be a high tackle. And now it's going to be reversed. Is it? No. Umpire indicated it was going to be reversed, but I'm not too sure now what's going on. It is going to be reversed. Yep. So the Old Scotch team had their ball through McFadgen. Something happened there in that pack, and it ended up being reversed and given to Adam Shea. So now Old Scotch have got the chance to run it out of defence through the agency of Hughes. He goes forward and finds Sattler. Sattler sidesteps beautifully, gets around his opponent, runs to the edge of the centre square, drives it down into attack. Knocked away there by Old Scotch, turns it around the corner, and I think that was Mitchell Ayres, the captain of Old Scotch, getting a 4th goal major on the board for his team. His team's 14th goal, so they're up to 97. 14-12. 13, is it 14-13? 14-13, 97. Thank you, Nathan, leading Evandale 6-10-46. "23 minutes gone in this final term. Just a couple of minutes remaining. All back in the centre of the ground. Sunshine weakening a bit here at Youngtown. I'm sure our astute cameraman Arnie out there from KR Productions won't mind the sun weakening a little bit. Although he might get freezing cold out there for him where he's doing our videotaping from on the balcony. So Old Scotch looking to find the ball there through Hughes. They finally do. It's a high kick. It's going to fall to the advantage of Old Scotch. They run the ball through the centre square and getting in the way of pulling the mark down once again, Rigby. Been Evandale's best player, I reckon, Rigby. He's had a lot of work to do, but he's handled it pretty well, the big fella. Ball going round and round in circles out there on the centre wing. Finally, Scotch can bring it forward, and that's a nice mark. Standing firm there, Vittori. Had a big last quarter, Vittori. Went to go left, ended up going right. Drives it down once again to centre wing. Couldn't find his teammate down there in Bullman, so Scotch bring it back, but Brown will take the mark right in the centre circle. 1 minute remaining in this grand final. Evandale trying to work the ball forward. They get it inside 50, and that's a nice mark pulled down by Jai Burke. Been their most effective forward, Jai Burke. He's got 3 goals on the board, 2 of those coming in that 3rd quarter. He should go back and... no, he's not. He's going to try and pass it off, and he's found his man down there in the forward pocket and out in front of the scoreboard. And he'll be kicking into the teeth of the breeze there. We've seen a couple of great shots from this side of the ground with the breeze, straighten up and be blown through. And I'll tell you what, he's done it, the big fella. Made a liar out of me. Not too sure who he is, but we'll endeavour to tell you in a minute. And so Evandale finish the grand final with a goal from Alex Devine. So grand final scores. Scotch, as you can see there on the scoreboard, 14-13 and 97, defeated Evandale 7-10-52. Evandale getting away to a poor start where they just kicked those 2 behinds in that 1st quarter. Goal kickers in the game for the victorious Old Scotch Collegians, premiers for season 2013 in Division 2 reserves. Goal kickers for them, 4 to Sattler, 3 to Sam Briggs, and then a 1 each to Downey, Oliver, McAdam, Bell, that's Raph Bell, Cale Ayres, and in fact there was 2 to Mitchell Ayres. And for Evandale, 3 goals to Jai Burke, and a 1 each to Becker, Stuart Fisher, Alex Devine, and Ben Howard. So as soon as the teams are ready, we'll bring you the presentation of the grand final medallions for the reserves here. Grand final winners in the reserves of Division 2 for season 2013, Old Scotch, coached by Nathan Warren.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your heads together for the Scotch football team and their coach Nathan Warren. We go to now present their medals. We'll get the coach to call the players up one by one and present their medals to them. Stevie, just come up here as well, mate. Right up, Stevie. Just first before I start, I'd like to thank Stewie and the Evandale Footy Club. Thanks very much, boys. We had a couple of battles through the year and everyone goes down as well, so thanks very much, mate. Well done. Right, yeah, we'll get going. Johnny Swallow.
Yeah, obviously a disappointing day for us guys. You know, we were there last year and we took away the big prize, but today it was old Scotch's turn, and I don't think anyone in the ground would you know, basically think any difference. They were very good, well coached, well drilled. I think Division 1 should take a look at some of the two teams around, because I tell you what, they could hold their own against any Division 1 reserve team. Well done, guys.
Right, yeah, Johnny Swallow, come back, well done. Jack Troy. Up roller. Man who takes 1,000 chest marks a game, Adam Monson. Little Rexy Robson. Right, Rexy. A Campbelltown Slayer. Andrew Truscott. Ivan Commission. That's the name of George. Look, but McDonald out, bud. Not much change on, but got an impact, mate. Well done. Bagger. T-bag. Will Morrison, run over. Jackie off, Cowboys. Who are your tail ends? That's up. Daisy, from your name. James Wallace, well done. Big Bernadette Brixie, well done, boys. Well done. Well done, Brixie. Boys, George McAdam. Son Gilbert. Marcus Easton, the big pig. Well done, mate. Jock Hughes, and Jock. Todd Daggy. You're all right, mate, we've got time. In the ruck battle hard today, well done, Big Rooter. Angus Lyon, well done. Well done, Mushroom. Our President Ray Bell, well done, Billy. Got about 30 seconds in the middle, well done. Back on the last line defence, Sluggy, well done, Shaggy.
leadership group, first vice captain, sorry, before I get there, Stevie Sattler with his new wheels, well done, Bell. On to the leadership group, first one, vice captain, Nick Hughes. Well done, mate. His partner in crime is good mate, Bad. Well done, Brian. Well done, Bill. And the captain, Mitchell Ayres. Well done, Smith. Well done. And the coach goes with his medal. Right, now we're going to announce the best player and present that player with the Jeff Scales Memorial Medal. Lawrence Scales has the medal, and the winner for this year, for number 48, Stephen Tapper. I'll ask the captain and the coach and two vice captains to come up to receive the Premiership Cup from the President.